Sup peeps? Okay, so you're done grinding your grave diggers and you want to go to the next step to kind of progress further, right? So you're wondering what is this Elven Capitals, what is going on here? So you can see that a lot of players actually have a lot of these Elven Capitals being done, and basically this is something like grave diggers. It gives you gems that you can feed into your fossil and help you progress. So whenever you're stuck and need damage, you do Elven Capitals, you do grave diggers. These are the two main things that will help you grow your fossil to something like this. Right? So first, we gotta start with the Elven Tree. Right? So this is your Elven Tree. You may have used it for experience or something before, but mine looks like this currently. So what most people in the community actually do is that they'll wait for the free respec daily over here. Right? Wait for the free respec, and they'll use this free respec to actually unlearn their entire Elven Tree when they're about to do a batch of Elvens. Right, and then they'll respec it to something like this. You can ignore this XP bonus, you can ignore this node, but mainly these are the important ones. You want this node, chance that armor gems will drop when mining nodes. You want mining nodes to drop additional stone, and basically like this whole line here as well. For this one for damage gems, and this one for your stance gems. And you want to go to the shortest path possible, which is here, 3.0115, and this node actually allows it so that the portal to the Elven Capital has a chance of appearing in your ruptures level 70 and above when you smash a rock. Okay, so this is the most important node, digging deeper. So what this does is actually adds 3 rupture levels to your Elven Capital. The Elven Capital starts at a base level of Rupture 250, so 1 point in digging deeper would make that Rupture level 253. So this is why you want to pour all your points in, because the higher level your Elven Capital's Rupture is, the more resources you would get. Basically, as we'll see later, it has a bunch of stones, mining ore, rocks, whatever you want to call them, and they will give you these flints. Flints and Dwarven stones. So they scale with your rupture level. More digging deeper means more of these per node. Right? So next we want to figure out how to get the keys, how to craft the keys basically. So instead of like crafting it here, it's not in this anvil, right? It's actually a bit of a special craft. So these are the main materials you need. You actually need Elven fragments. Right, this is the main resource, but there's also an alternate crafting recipe that requires scrolls, which we'll see in a bit. So the vendor that sells or allows you to trade in this for the key is actually in the ancient catacombs, right? So we have to go into the ancient catacombs first. Of course, before you go into the ancient catacombs, you want to make sure to take off all your elite gear, right? I like to take it off and just lock it in my inventory, because there can be elite mobs that spawn and you might die because it's, you know, higher rupture level. So we head over there, right? I'm just gonna ignore the slugs for now and go to the secret room. So there's a secret room here. Break it open and you can see that there are 2 NPCs in here. You may have been here before already. So the first guy, Ambassador of Kelkalun. Okay, so there's a few recipes here. People usually don't even, you know, I don't even care about these two. I just go for the Elven fragments to ambassador key, so I can just click buy and you see I get 1 ambassador key. Of course I'll do it later because we want to do it in batches. And next, this guy has another vendor recipe trade, what do you want to call it, and this is basically using scrolls. So 3 scrolls. It's cut off here, but it's 3 scrolls. So Hinterland scrolls, Cabarian scrolls, and Harmonian scrolls. So these 3 scrolls, HHK, right? 15 of these will give you 1 key. So I can buy it here and you see I got 1 key. So these are the 2 main recipes, what you want to call them, that you want to trade in your resources for keys. Right? So, okay, I'm going to exit the catacombs and we're going to show you, right, what Elven looks like. But first, before that, I'm just gonna explain that since we have this expedition guy, nowadays we don't need to manually run the Elven Capital. All we need to do is to run the first 2 runs, because to unlock this feature you need to run 2 runs manually. And once you run those 2 runs, you can just use this guy forever, right? He applies your digging deeper. Everything in your Elven Tree is applied to the loot that you get from this guy. So let me just try and find an Elven Capital portal here. We have any good RNG. So this is one way you can actually try to find an Elven Capital portal, like to make it more deterministic, is to actually use your imbued beetles and fortune tokens to try and get the special modifier where it guarantees an Elven Capital portal the moment you destroy your first rock. Like this. Always gain an Elven Capital portal. So you click this, whatever stone there is, if you destroy it, there it is. So that's the Elven Capital portal, and I want to say that if you see a golden version of this portal, that means it is free, but since this is blue, which is what will always come out of that modifier, you can see that, okay, you can use your key, right? So we can go in, and one thing you want to make sure before you do this is that you do not want any elite gear on you. If you do have any elite gear accidentally and you're in already, then you just want to make sure, if you do have the mount, if you don't, then, you know, unfortunate, you guys got to try and avoid stuff. If you do have the mount, you can just use the mount. Okay, so this is the Elven Capital. You can see that my rupture level here is 1114, you know, do the math, 288, digging deeper times 3 plus 250, that's the rupture level. Right, so it's just this long path, you drop down to this portal. Right, lucky all of this is automated now. And there's these stags, okay, these stags, you don't need to care about them, they drop you a mount. If you're a new player, you can get these mounts, hit one of them, get a mount, right? And they spawn elites, right? So if you have your elite gear on, drop the mount. I mean, use this scorpion mount, and then you wouldn't get any elite spawns. You'll be safe, right? But other than that, you can actually just, you know, hit stuff, and you can do that too, right? So you just run through this, and that's how an Elven Capital is done. So thankfully now we can just automate it. So just need to do it twice. So you just do this twice. This allows you to go back in again, right? It's just a chain, but I don't need to go back in, so I'll just go back to the home fort, right? And there it is. So Elven Capital is done. I can show you that if you do it with this guy, right? It gives you a lot of these resources. So you see the gems is from your Elven Trees nodes that you spec'd into, the flints, the Dwarven stone, and there's this relics. This is for the Zul boss, right? This is very important as well. Right, so just to show you what the flints actually turn into, the flints turn into this. So your flints turn into damage gems. This is how you get most of your damage bonus, and your Dwarven stones turn into large armor stones. So just a tip on like the meta of Elven Capitals is that currently people would like to get their Elven Tree. There's a few breakpoints, depends on your comfort, depends on how much you feel like you want the power boost now or you want power boost later. Right, so basically people will have, it's either Elven Tree level 100, then spec all the digging deeper and try to do as many Elvens as they can, or they wait for level 100 digging deeper, then they do their Elven keys, or they wait for a batch of 100. They wait to accumulate 100 Elven keys as their first batch, and whatever digging deeper they can get with that batch, they will just run it. Right, so that's pretty much it for the Elven Capitals. I hope that's enough information for you to understand as a new player as well. See ya.